You are slowly losing your memory, not because of age, not because of genetics, because you eat lunch alone. Scientists can now measure what happens inside your brain when you spend too much time without real human connection. And the results are not subtle. They are not theoretical. They show up on brain scans as actual physical changes. Visible, measurable, reversible, if you catch them in time. Here is what most people get wrong. They treat loneliness like an emotion, something you feel on a bad day and get over. But your brain does not treat it that way. Your brain treats loneliness the same way it treats hunger. It fires an alarm, it releases stress hormones, it shifts your entire nervous system into a state of low-grade emergency. And if that alarm keeps firing day after day, week after week, the damage adds up in ways that no vitamin, no medication, no morning walk can fully undo. We are going to talk about what that damage actually looks like. We are going to talk about why people over 50 are especially vulnerable. And we are going to give you 3 things, backed by science, that actually help. No motivational speeches, no obvious advice. Just what the research says in plain language. Stay with us. Let us start with a part of your brain called the hippocampus. It controls memory. It controls your ability to learn new things. And in people who live with chronic loneliness, it physically shrinks. Not as a metaphor, as a measurable reduction in grey matter volume. Brain scans confirm this. The same pattern shows up in early Alzheimer's disease. One large study out of Japan tracked thousands of older adults over many years. People with strong social connections were 46% less likely to develop dementia. Not less sad, less likely to lose their minds. That is a biological fact. Now, add the stress hormone cortisol. When you feel chronically disconnected, your body stays in a low-level threat state. Cortisol stays elevated. Over time, elevated cortisol damages blood vessels, disrupts sleep, and weakens immune function. Your body spends its repair budget on surviving a threat that never goes away. And then there is dopamine, the brain chemical tied to motivation and reward. In lonely people, the reward system becomes paradoxical. It screams for connection but loses the ability to reach out. The more isolated you become, the harder connection feels. That is not weakness, that is neuroscience. Here is something most people never hear from their doctor. Loneliness and social isolation are not the same thing. They are measured differently. They damage the brain differently, and confusing them leads people to completely wrong conclusions about their own lives. Social isolation is objective. It means few contacts, rare conversations, limited presence of other people in your daily life. Loneliness is subjective. It is the feeling that nobody truly knows you, that your relationships lack real depth, that you are unseen, even in a crowd. You can live alone and feel completely connected. You can be surrounded by family every single day and feel profoundly lonely. Research published in 2022 by neuroscientists at the University of Wisconsin confirmed this. It is the subjective experience of loneliness, not the number of people around you, that predicts actual brain changes. This matters enormously for people in their 50s and 60s. Many assume that having a spouse, adult children, and a neighbour who waves hello is enough. The brain does not count heads. It measures depth. It measures whether you feel genuinely understood by at least one person in your life. Scroll through social media for 2 hours and your loneliness score goes up, not down. A single honest conversation with someone who actually listens does more for your hippocampus than a week of group activities where nobody says anything real. In 2023, the United States Surgeon General did something unusual. he issued an official public health advisory about loneliness. Not about obesity, not about smoking, about loneliness. The World Health Organization followed and launched an international commission dedicated entirely to this problem. These are not wellness influencers, these are the people who track what is actually killing us. Here is the number that surprises almost everyone. A global survey conducted across 142 countries found that adults between 19 and 29 report feeling lonely more often than adults over 65. The loneliness epidemic is not primarily a story about the elderly. It is a story about disconnection at every age. But here is why people over 50 need to pay special attention. At this stage of life, the biological consequences accelerate. The Lancet Commission on Dementia Prevention reviewed decades of research and identified 12 modifiable risk factors. Social isolation was on that list. Not as a footnote, as one of 12 factors that together account for 40% of all dementia cases worldwide. 40%. That means a significant portion of dementia cases could potentially be influenced by lifestyle choices, including how connected we allow ourselves to remain. The risk from loneliness is now ranked alongside obesity and physical inactivity in terms of its impact on early death. That comparison comes directly from peer-reviewed research, not from headlines. So what does science actually recommend? Not what feels good, not what sounds inspiring. What has research tested and confirmed? First, your brain has a bias that loneliness creates and strengthens over time. Chronically lonely people begin to read neutral social situations as threatening. Someone does not text back quickly. You assume rejection. A colleague seems distracted. You assume dislike. This is not paranoia. This is a documented neurological pattern. Your threat detection system gets tuned too high and starts misfiring. The good news is that cognitive behavioral approaches can retrain this pattern. Awareness alone is a starting point. When you notice yourself assuming the worst from a neutral situation, pause, name it. That pause interrupts the loop. Second, quality matters more than quantity. One weekly conversation with a person who genuinely listens does more measurable good for your brain than 10 surface-level interactions. Brain imaging studies support this. You are not looking for more people. You are looking for more depth with the people already in your life. Ask a different question next time. Stay on a topic longer. Let silence exist without filling it immediately. Third, the concept of social prescribing is gaining serious scientific traction. Physicians in the United Kingdom now formally refer patients to community groups, volunteer programs, and shared interest clubs as part of medical treatment, not as a feel-good bonus, as an intervention with documented outcome. If your doctor is not asking about your social life, you can start asking yourself. Treat your connections the way you treat your annual checkup. Schedule them, protect them, show up. Your brain is not a fixed object. It responds to your life. It responds to what you eat, how you move, how long you sleep, and it responds, in ways we can now measure, to whether you feel genuinely connected to other human beings. Social connection is not a reward you get after you handle everything else. It is not a luxury for people with extra time. It is a biological requirement. The same way your body needs protein and sleep to function, your brain needs real, meaningful contact with other people. Remove it long enough and the structure of the brain itself begins to change. The research we covered today is not soft science. It comes from institutions like the Lancet Commission, the World Health Organization, and peer-reviewed journals with millions of participants across decades of study. This is as solid as nutrition science, as solid as cardiology, and it deserves the same place in how you think about your health every single day. You do not need to overhaul your life. You need one honest conversation this week that you might have been postponing. You need to notice when you are retreating and choose differently. Small decisions made consistently change the brain over time. That is not motivation. That is neurobiology. Now we want to hear from you. Has loneliness affected your health in ways you did not expect? Or have you found something that genuinely helped you feel more connected? Tell us in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. And if this kind of honest, research-based content is what you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. Do not do hype. We do not do filler. We find what the science actually says, and we bring it to you straight.